Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to Business Live. Coming up this evening, receiver for microfinance savings and loans companies to pay government from proceeds of second round auction. And what will be the success of trade without a common currency? We have a conversation on whether the absence of a single currency will hurt implementation of the Continental Free Trade Agreement. Also coming up, turning passion into profit, we will be hearing the story of interior designer Zoe Akumia on the Joy Business Band. We have the details plus many more coming up this evening on Business Live after the break. So those were our headline stories in the business space today, but away from that, the receiver for defunct microfinance savings and loans companies will be using funds realized from the second auctioning process to pay back the government. This is in line with the law establishing the receivership for the financial institutions. According to the spokesperson for the receiver, Philomena Kujo, funds that were used by government to pay depositors of defunct institutions must be refunded. She spoke exclusively to Joy Business.
The act that sets up the receivership, these financial institutions, the act says that first, pay statutory government obligations. So, for instance, if the institution owes net, let's say ECG, let's say water bill, etc., etc., Ghana Water Company, sorry. Let's say if the institution owes SNET, ECG, Ghana Water Company, pay all those statutory obligations. Then after that, you pay what we call secured creditors. I think with this one, we don't have any secured creditor in this exercise. Then after that, you pay depositors. So we are going to sell assets to make these payments. In this case, government is using the funding, government gave the funding to pay these depositors. So whatever money we make should go back and pay the government.
The Energy Commission has begun engagement with importers of refrigerators and television sets. The move will see the replacement of used refrigerators and television for energy efficiency, as well as prevent importers from using Ghana as a dumping ground for non-efficient electronic products. There's more in this report.
According to the Energy Commission, Ghana has reached a stage where it has become necessary to upscale the appliance standards and labeling program, which was introduced about 10 years ago to bring on board improved standards. Among the products to be affected in the first phase includes air conditioners, refrigerators, public lighting, and TV sets. Speaking during a 3-day program, Executive Secretary of the Energy Commission, Engineer Oscar Amonuniza, stressed the need for Ghana to review its prohibition law to include these new measures.
Moving with global technological advancement, the existing standards and regulations for ACs, refrigerators, and lamps are therefore being replaced with new and improved ones, and entirely new standards and regulations are being introduced for more appliances. We are therefore moving up from 5 stars being the most efficient to 7 stars. This is in line with global trends so that low efficient products are not dumped on us. Technology is fast advancing and obsolete products are moving around the globe to find a dumping space. We therefore need to insulate Ghana from becoming a dumping site for global inefficient products.
Director of Energy Efficiency and Climate Change at the Energy Commission, Kofi Ejako, told Joy Business that barring any last-minute challenges, the new reform is expected in Parliament before the end of the year.
We are in close collaboration with the Attorney General's Department. That is the constitutionally the body that serves as the brain behind all these documents. So they are working at it, and we hope that we'll be able to get it to the Parliamentary Subsidiary Legislation Committee to work on it before they finally rise. So I'm hoping that, barring any last-minute hitches, the first set of 5 plus the prohibition law making 6 will go through before the year ends.
The new standards will also mean that the current 5-star label will be upgraded to 7 stars.
In more stories this evening, hundreds of acres of citrus farms in the Ibra-Asibu Kwamankesi district of the Central Region are destroyed every year to make way for alternative crops. This is because farmers do not have a ready market for their crops, a situation that is affecting their standards of living. But there seems to be some good news, as the Ekumfi Fruits and Juice Factory has formed a strategic partnership with Central Fruit Juice Processing Factory for the establishment of a new citrus factory. Richard Kojonyaku has more in the following report.
The Ibra-Asibu Kwamankesi district is one of the leaders as far as the growing of citrus in the country is concerned. Sadly, there is no ready market for the farmers here. Their fruits get rotten either in the farms or along the shoulders of the road. Eja Kowando has been in the citrus farming business for more than 15 years.
15 years. This I'm back from my doctor, where I doctor degree.
I have a 32-acre organic citrus farm. It's been more than 15 years since I started citrus farming. That's what I used to take care of my son, who is now a doctor. Orange is abundant in this area. The problem we face is marketing. The women who used to buy the citrus from us cheat us. Is it not painful to plant your citrus and no one buys them? His counterparts have similar experiences. These painful experiences they've had over the years are leading many to cut their citrus trees while they try their luck on other crops. We have a lot of oranges in our area. Mine is lemon. I have large acres of lemon farm. Some time ago, Pinalo, a factory promised to buy from us, but they were unable to buy more. They buy just a little and our citrus ends up rotting in the farm. There is another company that used to buy our citrus, but when they buy, they don't pay us. Sometimes it takes 3 years to get our money from them. We have a lot of oranges here, but when they come to buy, they don't even pay. It's even the women amongst them that cheat us. There was a company that came and assured they were going to buy our oranges. That didn't materialize. So if we get any company to come and assist us, we will be fine. We are indeed happy that we are seeing another factory springing up here. Luckily, a new citrus processing factory is being born in the district. The site has been cleared and machines for the construction of the factory are being moved to the site. Head of operations at the Ekumfi Fruit and Juices Factory, Frederick Kobna-Akwa, says the factory has come at an opportune time when farmers in the district and other adjoining ones are distraught and have resorted to cutting down hundreds of acres of their citrus farms for want of markets.
We know Ibra-Asibu Kwamankesi to be a leader in citrus growing. So here we have lime, we have oranges, we have tangerines, we have all of that form the citrus factory family. They do very well here, and this for ages has been the base for citrus. So once we needed to set up a citrus oil factory, it was important to come into an area like this. Because we hear that for some time now, citrus has issues, and then you go into the farming communities and most of them are cutting down or hewing down their citrus trees for other crops.
Frederick Akwa intimates the strategic partnership between Ekumfi Fruit and Juices Factory and the new factory affords both factories the leverage to mutually benefit from each other in the usage of raw materials.
So it was important to form such a strategic arrangement with a processor of juice, because Central Citrus has a focus of processing citrus oil, and that's the oil we get at the back or in the peels of the citrus. So I mean, we put one and one together and said, okay, so if we can form this partnership, at least we can benefit from the pulp, where we can do our extraction of the juice to go and mix our pineapple to do our third variant, and that is why we are here. So,
Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Coastal Development Authority, Kofi Karikari-Bonze, says supporting the building of the factory means a lot to the farmers in the district. He says stopping farmers from cutting down their citrus trees, seeing the income levels of farmers go up, and creating employment for the teeming youth in the area is exciting to the Coastal Development Authority.
Look down there. That is not a forest. That is an orange farm, 4-acre orange farm, abandoned for the past 7 years. When you look at it, you won't see any orange tree, but if I take you closer, you see it belongs to the Abusia Penyin here. He hasn't been here for the past 7 years. When we go down there, there are thousands of acres of citrus, ranging from lime, lemon, and oranges, completely abandoned. So we are happy because our fathers will connect to their farm, connect to their pockets, and they will be able to take care of us, the children's education.
Kofi Karikari-Bonze is convinced the region would be lifted out of poverty gradually with such projects coming up. The factory, when completed, will also support the Kofi Fruit and Juices factory with raw materials for their pineapple citrus mixed fruit juice. Richard Kwejunya-Akon, Joy News, Cape Coast.
Now, the Ministry of Science and Environment has provided vehicles and boats for the small-scale mining task force in a renewed fight against alluvial mining. The move is geared towards saving water bodies from further pollution. The Environmental Protection Agency will offer technical assistance to execute the project. The small-scale mining task force has for over 5 years been fighting against mining on river bodies. Zoe Akumia has been following the task force as they deploy the new equipment received for their operations.
Over 200 Shamfan boats were destroyed by the task force in July, but many more float on River Ofin. Recalcitrant dredgers sink their boats in an attempt to hide them. Even though the task force detects them, they are unable to pull them out. Leader of the task force, Brisi Ando, explains why.
You can see this boat. It doesn't belong to us. It belongs to somebody, and we just went and begged the person so that he will give us the boat. With that boat, you cannot work on this river. And you see, the river is very full. So as we are working now, we will plead to the government that they should also come to our aid so that they will help us with vehicles so that we can also come every day and work.
The narrative today has changed. With new boats and safety jackets, team members have the means to bring up the boats. Now, a drone, one of the equipment presented by the Professor Frimpong Boateng-led ministry, is deployed for recce ahead of the team. Through this, exact areas of target are detected for the team to move in. Mr. Ando is optimistic the aim to rid river bodies of alluvial miners will be achieved.
They have given us new boats, new pickups, and life jackets. So the places that first we cannot go, now we can go there. So in fact, the work is progressing and we are happy that now things have changed.
Meanwhile, the Small Scale Miners Association has committed to invest more in the exercise. Mike Gizo is a member of the association.
Already we have some divers, and we have trained some people to operate the outboard motors as well. So we don't have to chase these dredgers on the ground because it has to do with two compartments. We move on the ground to chase them on the river bodies, which was extremely difficult and also impossible. With the giving of boats from the Ministry of Environment, what is different now is that we just chase them right on the river bodies. We don't have to be patrolling the riverbeds. We just move on the river bodies, and even our appearance itself is a deterrent to them.
For Joy News, Zoe Akumia reporting.
With or without COVID-19, Ghana will begin full implementation of the single largest market platform, that is the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Those were the words of Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ayokor-Botchwey. 26 out of 54 countries have so far signed onto the trade part, which is expected to boost intra-Africa trade by $35 billion per annum. As interesting as that may sound, some have expressed some concerns about how effective trading is going to be without a common trading currency. Let's have a conversation with the trade expert Richard Ampabin, who joins me via phone for more on this. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much for joining me.
Good evening, my sister, and thank you for having me.
Great. So before we go into the main discussion this evening, what's your take on the progress of work on the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement? Do you think that with the impact of COVID, we are ready politically, legally, and then also economically for the agreement?
Well, as has already been told, now the new world order, so COVID or no COVID, man must lead. And therefore, I would say that the implementation of African Free Trade Continental Trade Area is a good news to come about this time around.
So my question is, do you think that economically, legally, and then also our readiness, you think we are ready as a nation?
You see, if you compare to all regional blocks of trade, there's nowhere that all countries have been ready before they moved on to their regional block trading. And what I'm trying to say here is that African countries, there are 54 of them who have ratified. I'm not too sure all of them are ready yet to enter into the trade pact. But it's better to start with those who have made it possible, talking about their trade arrangement, to come together and trade. And as we move on, others will get on board.
Right. Now, to our main discussion this evening, some have said that currency should aid trade integration. Hence, what is currency without trade integration? And so there should be integration first before the currency comes in. But with the absence of a common currency, is that going to affect the implementation of the free trade agreement?
Not at all. You see, this trade pact is not too distant away from WTO rules. And if you ask me, trade in the world now revolves around the dollar and the sterling and the yen and what have you. So Africa not having a common currency is not an inhibition to trade. If you care to know, EU, not all the members are on euro. About 8 of them are not on euro. But EU is running with a common market. So as for currency, yes, it will be better as we move on to get a common currency. But let me state it here.
Right.
Given the nature of our economies in Africa, again, the fragmentation of African states, is a bit difficult to talk about a common currency now.
So where does that leave the ECO, the fight for a common currency? You know, we've been having a lot of talks about the introduction of the ECO. And so my question is the convergence criteria, if it's softened a little bit, and then ECO comes in, would that not aid trade facilitation, or would that not facilitate trade on the continent?
That would do. Because if you look at the other blocks, they use those near to themselves use common currency. And as you are saying, we could use the ECO. Those of us in West Africa can use the ECO, and it will be better for us to go into this pact with our common currency. But that doesn't also force any of our blocks to do same. I mean, currency is only an medium of exchange. And if we have a common medium of exchange, courtesy the dollar, fine. We can, for now, use the dollar as our common currency.
All right. I'm grateful for your time this evening, Richard Ampambe is a trade expert. We are grateful for your time. And it's Wednesday, you know what that means. And anytime she enters a space, she's able to spot what is wrong. It's this gift that has made Zoe Akumia a sought-after interior designer. Today on the Joy Business Van, the CEO of Zoe Creative Services speaks to us about her passion.
We're on the road once again, going to meet the brilliant interior designer Zoe Akumia, CEO of Zoe Creative Services, who is on site and very busy. So Zoe, where are we going?
Okay, so this is a project that I'm helping to consult on. I wasn't instrumental in this building or anything. They've actually had it up for a number of years, and they've lived in for a while, but they wanted to finish upstairs.
Wow.
And they had seen a couple of my works, so they decided to engage me.
Zoe has got an eye for what is beautiful. It's innate. However, she began to take it serious when she was in uni.
Anytime I entered a space, I knew what was wrong. I knew that this window shouldn't have been here. This door would be there. If the door was there, you could actually display a better painting there.
It was in 2003 when she had her twin boys that she decided to turn her passion into a business.
So I had a space for if you had like 2 children, maybe the boy could sleep up. So I started with the bunk bed concept, and then I fixed a typical baby's nursery. Then I had another setup for if you had 3 kids and they just had to share one room. Because in the early 2000s, most of the properties that were being developed, the SNIT flats and all, they just had 2 bedrooms. So the parents were in one and the children were in one. And people used to complain about not having enough space. And I will find space anywhere.
At the early stages, it was not easy to convince people they needed to invest in enhancing the interior of their homes. But Zoe had a strategy to penetrate the market.
Sometimes they order just furniture from me. I'm like, no, this room needs to be painted. Otherwise, it would be like dressing up a child that has not had his bath. So they were like, no, I have money just for the furniture. And then I would use my money to paint the room and put up curtains, just so that I can take a good sellable picture to show to the next client that, look, it can actually look like this.
Investing her own money sometimes into decorating people's homes, Zoe does not regret. It has contributed to increasing her client base, and as she tells me, it is a difficult market because you are not guaranteed work all the time.
A typical day for me, it can be as calm as today that you've caught me to interview. It can be a very crazy morning where I set up like 5:30 a.m. because I have to hit like 3 different sites where there are ongoing projects. So depending on how many of those projects I am only consulting, i.e. telling my clients the deliberate steps and choices to make or helping them to pick the right tile. There could be other projects where it is my workers, my artisans, my professionals, and we are executing the job from start to finish.
Zoe has executed a number of projects and her work speaks for itself.
Most of them are private people who would want it to remain private. But we did Aqua's Place in Nema, which is being used as an Airbnb. So that is a commercial place. I've in times past done a few embassies and worked with a few diplomats here and there.
One of the highlights of Zoe's journey is hosting Ghana's first home makeover show, Changing Places, generating much interest. So where does she want to be in the next few years?
Typically when I see people being asked that question, I'm like, how would anybody know? You know, we could have the apocalypse tomorrow. So I simply want to build a small, efficient business. You know what I mean? The business has to be relevant all the time, and it has to be efficient. Our yes is our yes and our no is our no. If we say we'll finish your house tomorrow, your house has to be finished tomorrow. So I just want to be very effective and excel at what I do.
And Zoe Akumia is excelling.
some inspiration then. That's how we end the program this evening. Log on to myjoyonline.com/business for more business news updates. I'm back at 7 p.m. with more business news. I am Sandra S. and thanks so much for watching.